Hi, my name is Taylor Simpson. I'm here with the Maddie.
Hello.
And she's going to be the person I'm interviewing that learned English as their second language. So we're going to start off by asking, where were you born?
I was born in Westlake, Texas. This is between Mexico and Texas, right by the border.
Okay. How when you were with your parents and everything, did they not know English and that's why they didn't teach you English, or
Right. So both of my parents were born in Mexico. My mom was born in Matamoros, Tamaulipas, and my dad was born in Durango, Mexico. They lived there throughout life, all the way until high school. They moved here. They got married and they moved over here. My parents were pastors, so they had permission to come over here.
So, when you went to elementary school, did you know any English at all? Were you in a bilingual school?
Unfortunately, I did not know any English. My siblings, they knew English because they were older than me and they learned through school as well. But no, my first language was Spanish. I remember going to pre-K and not knowing what was going on. To be honest, I felt very afraid and alone.
Do they have a program like the ESL?
They did not. I lived in a very, very small town where they didn't have bilingual classes. It was all English.
Okay.
And there wasn't many staff that knew Spanish either. It was like, there was only like five Hispanic families in that community.
So when you went to school, how did you communicate with your teachers or your other students that were with you?
So I do remember there being a student, one of my peers, she was Hispanic as well, and she already knew English and Spanish because I believe her parents knew Spanish and English. And I think she would communicate with me and translate for me. The student was translating for me, but there was not a teacher that knew how to speak Spanish. They knew a little bit, something that could get them through, like do your homework or tell your mom, blah blah blah. Yeah. But it wasn't like they weren't really communicating with me.
Did the teachers try to, like, okay, I'm going to Google Translate this, or did they kind of just push you off to the side?
Probably, I feel like I was pushed to the side a lot. I think I got in trouble for a lot of things, like, just like minor things, like going to the restroom without asking, but that's probably like,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I remember getting in trouble a lot because of that communication. We didn't have that communication, so I feel definitely that might have been something.
So were you scared, and like how did you finally break the English and Spanish barrier?
I want to say after pre-K, kinder, I don't want to say I was very fluent, but I was able to communicate with my teachers and friends. And speaking English in the house with my siblings. Even though my parents did not understand what we were saying, we were speaking with each other.
So, since your siblings and you were speaking English, did your parents ever try to learn English?
They started understanding.
They started
because my brother was the one translating for my mom. We would go to the doctor's office when we would. There was an issue in school. He would translate for her, and just like our siblings were translators, so they started picking up what certain things mean.
Okay. So, did you struggle with schoolwork? How did you get your schoolwork done? If your siblings weren't home, or your mom and dad didn't know English, how were you able to do your homework?
Right. So I didn't struggle with math, but I remember when they would send the books home for school
to read.
My mom would sit there with me and my older brother Eliu, and my brother would help me read. Yeah. So it wasn't my mom teaching me how to read. I remember if my brother wasn't there because he was out like for tutoring or something, she would struggle with me. She would try to figure out what the book was saying, but we both struggled.
Yeah.
And so that's why I struggled with reading at the end of the day.
So do you feel comfortable as a bilingual speaker? Do you feel like you speak Spanish fluently and English fluently? So do you think you would be able to be a bilingual teacher?
Throughout my student teaching, I feel like that I can be a bilingual teacher. If you asked me that question 4 weeks ago, I would have been like, no. But I started speaking more Spanish with the bilingual students when I see them around, or I communicate with the bilingual students more. So I'm like, oh yeah, I talk to them in Spanish, and I start talking more Spanish now. Even with my husband, I was speaking more Spanish with him lately.
So, but right now you feel more comfortable in English than you did that you do in Spanish?
Yeah, I feel more comfortable in English, for sure.
Okay, well, thank you for your time, and that is all.